want to talk about a little bit about your process
Sure.
in production. Walk me through just like a regular session. Like
Great.
songwriters coming over, you're writing the song, and to not completely finishing the record, but even to getting that first bounce. What's your process there?
It generally relies on how the artist wants to proceed.
Right.
Every song could be written differently.
Of course.
And I'm pretty like open to like the process of like the artist. So, I'll be like, all right, what are we doing today? What's the vibe? What kind of thing are we thinking? And either, the singer will say, I want to do something that's like a little soft, and I have like this lyric idea, and I have like a reference, and maybe I'll like grab a guitar and kind of start strumming some stuff, and they'll start singing, and like I'll kind of guide it, or maybe they'll just like sing it perfectly and it'll be golden.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, I want to do something that's a little more upbeat, like a little more track based, and like kind of like have a reference or like a feeling, and I'll pop open Ableton and like start like laying some stuff down, and sometimes I'll like play some like tracks. I'm like, oh, I kind of have this track that sounds like this. And, like, oh, like I like this section, like let's scratch that section, let's build off of this.
Cool.
But more times than not, I feel like everyone wants to like start something fresh.
Yeah.
And like in those two paths, like if we look at the, like let's build a track and write onto that path, the process generally is starting with drums first, like always kind of finding essentially a groove. And then touching some things, like touching some synths and getting some sort of like a element that could be like a character of a track and getting a loop up so that like we can write to it.
Right.
And if we're doing more of a, like singer-songwriter approach, I'm at the guitar or I'm at the piano, or they're at the guitar, they're at the piano, and I'm just like listening, like watching, like suggesting things as we move along through it. Definitely trying to flush out a song before like going too deep into production, like making sure we have like a chorus.
Right.
And
it's so fun. I work like the same exact way, because I think you're similar to me, where I consider myself a songwriter first.
Definitely.
That's my main focus. And I think sometimes when producers in sessions get too much in the sauce, it tends to like kind of like, not always, but like annoy songwriters.
So true.
Where it's like, so I don't know, like, because I used to do a lot of top line, I still do, where it's like, I want flexibility. I want to be able to like
it's a good point.
add a section or like have a chord change in there somewhere, and not just be like, well, this is the track. It's like, like, okay.
Keep it loose.
Right.
I'm all about looseness. Like, if you keep it loose, like who knows what could happen. Surprises.
Were you able to be like that when you were early on in your production career? Or did you feel like this, I'm speaking more for myself, that like I felt like I would really go in on production because I was like, I need to show these people I can do it.
No, another classic step to being a producer is like going too deep on the productions, like early on, for things that never see the light of day, and you're like, why did I spend so long on this? And maybe this was like you, but like when I first came down to LA, I was more focused on being a songwriter.
Same.
And like I was like, my production chops aren't like totally there yet, but I'm gonna be doing some writing. And I was doing like more sessions, like as a top liner, like writing songs. And like getting frustrated with some producers I would work with. I'd be like, oh, like this producer like kind of ruined this song. Or like they don't realize like we really need like a drop down chorus. Like there's a reason why we needed a drop down chorus. Like, and from that, like I was like, okay, I'm going to like learn more about production. So going into like every session, it does come, like you said, from that like foundation of like thinking of what's a good song and what's like the writing of this, and making sure that all the like parts are building into one another, from a verse to a pre to a chorus. Or if you're breaking that structure, it's like cool in a way that still is exciting to the ear. Not getting bogged down with productions is still like a thing I'm always like reminding myself.
It's so hard.
It's really hard. And especially like you said early on, I was like going in and just like making so many tracks and like things like that and flexing. And now I'm just like, the tracks just, they don't need to be like the greatest thing of all time. If like the song is good and the track is like sort of unique, like that's a perfect record.
I've had so much more success with songs that like my demos, they were the least fleshed out. Where it's just like, I'm obsessed about getting the vocal sounding great every time. I think that's very important. But it's like same thing as you were saying before, like just getting a drum vibe going, finding that main riff or that main sound, and then just like creating some transitions just to create the movement, but like not really much more.
Yeah.
Just be like, here's the song, guys.
100%.
And I have no interest in producing out a B or C level song.
100%.
No one wins in that situation.
No one wins. It's not coming out.
Yeah, and we all write B and C level songs all the time because like that's just the process.
That's the average, yeah.
But it's like understanding, it's hard to know in the moment. I always in the moment in the session want to be excited about a song and I want to get everyone pumped about it and want to think it could be the biggest song. But then I spend, I'll get my bounce out that night or the day after and listen to it like a week or two later and be like, yeah, this isn't a great song.
100%.
It's a fine song.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to go any deeper on this unless someone like hits me up.
Unless they're like, yeah, this is a priority.
Right. Because like, I love to be proven wrong all the time. Like, prove me wrong.
No, truly.
Please tell me.
Yes.
And, that's been a better work-life balance for me personally. Just like kind of hitting pause on when I want to produce something out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'll do a session and I won't really touch something unless the artist is like, let's keep working on this.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid anymore to be that guy when we're working on something and like, keep playing the loop in the background for an hour.
Yeah.
And like nothing's really happening. It's like, all right, guys, I think let's move on from this idea.
Let's move on.
And
even if you get like just like a little thing instead of like a full song, like I'd much rather get like a little thing that's cool.
Right.
Versus like a full song that's fleshed out and like lame. And I think early on, like I was more focused on, all right, let's get that whole song done. Yep. Because that is like part of like earning your chops. Like you learn what it is to like write a full song and like record a full song.
You need to do that.
And then you're like, okay, like I've been so focused on like writing and recording full songs that these songs are kind of like very mediocre. Right. And
you're just like checking
things off.
Yeah.
So let's kind of like try chasing something that's really exciting, be loose about it.
Right.
And even if we get just a chorus, that's awesome. Like let's circle back. We'll write another verse, or like even if there's like some like instrumental vibe that we catch that like, we can circle back to I'm definitely not in a rush to like record a full song every session.
Yeah. It's just, same thing. I'd rather get that one great thing, even if it's a great verse.
Yeah.
And we're like, right. It's just like, I'm just saying, like, I want something that's great.
Yeah.
Not something that's mediocre.